Somewhere within the Bitcoin blockchain, enormous fortunes have existed for many years. Fortunes that cannot be accessed under any circumstances, because the system itself was designed from the very beginning to leave no way back. Bitcoin created a form of ownership in which the loss of access means the complete and irreversible disappearance of the right to control what once belonged to a person. In the early years of the network, this was not perceived as a threat, because Bitcoin was an experiment that people approached lightly, without imagining that casual decisions would eventually turn into irreversible losses. As the network grew, the significance of those decisions became increasingly clear, and simple human mistakes began to be recorded permanently. This is a story about finality, a reality faced by everyone who interacts with such a system. Greetings, I'm Jin. Like and subscribe. Things are about to get interesting. Somewhere in the Bitcoin network, there are wallets filled with millions of dollars. They exist. They are visible, they are verified, and they will never move. Not today, not in 10 years, not ever. These are the lost Bitcoins. Bitcoin was designed to be unstoppable, censorship-resistant, permissionless. But it was never designed to be forgiving. If you lose your private key, there is no reset button, no support desk, no recovery email. The system does exactly what it was built to do. It forgets you. In the early years, Bitcoin was treated like a toy. People mined thousands of coins on laptops. They stored keys in text files, on old hard drives, on USB sticks labeled random. Back then, one Bitcoin was worth almost nothing. No one imagined what it would become. And then it did. Today, blockchain analysts estimate that millions of Bitcoins are permanently lost. Not stolen, not frozen, not hidden. Lost. Locked inside wallets that will never be opened. Some belong to people who forgot their passwords. Some to people who threw away old computers. Some to people who died without telling anyone where the keys were. And some belong to people who never planned to come back. One wallet alone holds tens of thousands of Bitcoins. Untouched since the early days. No outgoing transactions. No movement. Just silence. Every time the Bitcoin price rises, those coins rise with it. Billion-dollar fortunes that exist only on paper. Rich and unreachable. This creates a strange paradox. Bitcoin is scarce by design. Only 21 million will ever exist. But in reality, far fewer are usable. The lost coins reduce supply forever. They make every remaining Bitcoin more valuable, and no one can bring them back. Not miners, not developers, not governments, not even the person who lost them. Some of these wallets are famous, tracked, watched. Every time the blockchain updates, people check them, waiting for movement that never comes. Because if one of these wallets ever wakes up, it could shake the entire market. But the real question isn't how much Bitcoin is lost. The real question is this: how many of these wallets were lost by accident, and how many were abandoned on purpose? In the next part, we'll look at the most famous lost wallets in Bitcoin history, and the stories behind the keys that vanished forever. One of the most famous lost fortunes in Bitcoin history belongs to a man named James Howells. In 2013, he threw away a hard drive. At the time, it seemed worthless. Old hardware, useless files. What he didn't realize was that the drive contained the private keys to 7,500 Bitcoins. Years later, Bitcoin exploded, and that trash became a fortune worth hundreds of millions of dollars, buried under tons of waste in a landfill. Howells asked for permission to search. He offered to fund the operation himself. He was denied. The wallet remains lost. Another category of lost Bitcoin is even darker. Early miners. Back when Bitcoin was worth cents, some people mined tens of thousands of coins. They didn't secure them. They didn't back them up. They didn't care. Hard drives failed. Laptops were stolen. Files were overwritten. Those wallets still exist on the blockchain, perfectly visible and perfectly untouchable. Then, there are the wallets of the dead. Bitcoin has no inheritance system. If the owner dies without sharing their private keys, the coins are locked forever. No court order can unlock them. No government can seize them. No company can intervene. Death in Bitcoin is final. Analysts estimate that hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins belong to people who are no longer alive. Digital wealth with no heirs. And then, there is the largest mystery of all. The early wallets believed to belong to Bitcoin's creator. They contain over 1 million Bitcoins. They have never moved. Not once. For more than a decade, they have remained untouched. If those coins ever moved, it would be the biggest event in Bitcoin history. Markets would panic. News would explode. Trust would be shaken. But the wallets stay silent, year after year. Some lost wallets are accidental. Others are tragic. And some feel deliberate. Because in a system built on absolute control, giving up access might be the final form of anonymity. No identity, no recovery, no return. Just numbers on a ledger, waiting forever. By now, you might be wondering why not change the system? Why not recover lost coins? In the next part, we'll explore why Bitcoin cannot fix this problem, and why trying to do so would destroy the very thing that makes it valuable. At first glance, the solution seems obvious. Why not reset the system? Why not add recovery rules? Why not let a court, a government, or a majority vote unlock lost wallets? Because the moment you do that, Bitcoin stops being Bitcoin. Bitcoin does not know who you are. It doesn't know if you are alive or dead. It doesn't know if you lost your keys or forgot your password. It doesn't know if the coins belong to a criminal or a saint. All it knows is one thing: the private key. If you have it, the coins are yours. If you don't, they are not. There are no exceptions. This is not a flaw. It is the core design. Bitcoin was created in a world where trust in institutions was collapsing. Banks could freeze accounts. Governments could seize funds. Companies could reverse transactions. Bitcoin removed all of that. But it removed something else too: mercy. Every proposal to recover lost coins has been rejected, because recovery requires authority, and authority requires trust. Once someone has the power to decide which coins are lost, they also have the power to decide which coins can be taken. Today, it's a forgotten password. Tomorrow, it's a political decision. That path leads back to the system Bitcoin was built to escape. Even miners can't help. They secure the network. They process transactions. But they do not control ownership. They cannot move coins without a valid signature. Not even together. Even developers can't help. They write the software. They maintain the code. But they cannot rewrite the past. Changing the rules to recover coins would split the network. 2 Bitcoins, 2 ledgers, 2 realities, and trust would break. This is why lost Bitcoins are permanent. They are not frozen. They are not waiting. They are effectively burned, reducing supply forever. Ironically, every lost coin makes the remaining coins stronger, scarcer, more valuable. Loss becomes a feature, a silent tax paid by those who didn't understand the system early enough. Bitcoin does not forgive mistakes, but it also does not discriminate. It treats everyone equally: the billionaire and the beginner, the living and the dead. And once the key is gone, the system does not care why. It simply moves on. Lost Bitcoins are often described as a failure, a flaw, a tragedy of forgotten passwords and discarded hard drives. But over time, a different understanding emerged. Lost coins are not a bug. They are the cost. Bitcoin was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be final. In the traditional system, mistakes can be undone. Transfers are reversed. Accounts are restored. Passwords are reset. That safety comes at a price. Someone is always in control. Bitcoin removes that control completely. And when control disappears, responsibility becomes absolute. Every private key is a single point of truth. Every mistake is permanent. Every loss is irreversible. There is no appeal, no forgiveness, no exception. The lost wallets form a silent graveyard on the blockchain. Millions of coins, perfectly visible and perfectly unreachable. They do nothing. They say nothing. They simply exist. And in doing so, they change everything. Because Bitcoin's scarcity is not theoretical. It is enforced by loss, by human error, by death, by forgetfulness. Every lost coin tightens supply. Every forgotten key increases the value of the keys that remain. In a strange way, the people who lost their Bitcoins donated value to everyone else, without asking and without meaning to. This is why the system survives. It does not rely on trust. It does not rely on memory. It does not rely on institutions. It relies on math. And math does not care. One day, new technologies may emerge. New cryptography may replace the old. The system may evolve, but the principle will remain. Ownership without permission. Money without intermediaries. Responsibility without mercy. Somewhere right now, there are wallets that will never open. Their owners are gone. Their keys destroyed. Their access lost forever. And yet, they still matter. They shape the economics. They reinforce the rules. They remind everyone of the same lesson. In Bitcoin, freedom is real, but it is not free. So when you hear about lost millions of Bitcoins, don't think only of tragedy. Think of discipline. Think of finality. Think of a system that refuses to bend. Because in a world where everything can be reversed, something that cannot be undone becomes powerful. The wallets will never move. The keys will never return. And the network will continue. Silent, unforgiving, alive.